now and then one comes along and you just know they have it in them to be sober.
I used to smile and I used to dream.
I think this is his last shot.
I had high hopes about the man that I could be.
No word from your dad?
Can't solo these days. Hey, Dad, do you remember Hillary? Hi.
Yeah, we're late, darling.
We're just chatting about Christmas.
Unfortunately, our table's full.
I rode my luck and my luck ran out.
I want to be clean. I want to live a life.
You can't do it on your own.
Second time around.
Hello?
The second time around.
Hey, boy. Excuse me, do you know whose cat this is?
Bob came to you for a reason.
Bob?
That's what he wants you to call him.
In the past, I've screwed up every opportunity I've been given. I don't want to go that way.
Who are the
You're doing great. James,
make you
you can't take on too much too far.
I'm ready.
are any of them
I've got Bob.
standing by your side?
He'll look after me.
'Cause all our lives
You're keeping him, aren't you?
are just satellite.
Give it a try, help Bob and I.
Here
Bob, show me what life could be like on the other side.
like
You want to come again tomorrow?
satellite moments.
I wanted to apologise for everything.
I'm the one who needs to apologise.
Satellite moments.
Everyone gets a second chance. Luckily for me, I had a very important companion to help with my second chance. Don't look at me like that. High five.
Hello, welcome back to another podcast. My name is Ben Haywood, as always, and today I'm going to be bringing you another movie review. So just before we get into the review, just going to have a quick discussion of what my channel is all about. Like, I feel like my style of content is very laid back, like nothing scripted. It's basically getting the thoughts out of my head. Like, I'm genuinely motivated now to make this video, as I feel like passionate. I feel like I genuinely want to like get the thoughts out of my head. At the moment I'm struggling with building an audience, getting views, so if by any chance you come across this video, like, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, if you're keeping kind and respectful, feel free to leave me a comment below. Like, if you've got any like suggestions, any recommendations. Like, I feel like I'm struggling with audio, like recently, like judging on my previous videos, I feel like the audio's not up to scratch, but I've tried another input at the moment, like input 1 and 2. Like, I'm no expert in audio, so if you're anyone who's out there who's more of an expert in audio than I am, just leave a message below. Just help me out, like, just a bit of advice, because I'm trying to get the best content out, and mainly for you guys. Like, if anyone is out there who's actually interested in the type of content that I create. So films, TV based stuff, narrative based stuff, that's my type of channel. That's the kind of thing that interests me. So if you're into all that kind of stuff, why not subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified, and you get to see more this type of content in the future whenever you feel like watching me. So right, into the video. Like, today I'm going to be reviewing a cat named Bob, and just before we get into that, bear with me if I get some of the people's names wrong, because I know I'm not like the best person at like getting people's names right. So sit back, relax and enjoy, because this could be quite a lengthy video. Oh, and also as I seem to do these podcast type videos during the middle of the night, I'm thinking of giving this podcast a name, like something stupid like the MidNight podcast. So if anyone's out there who you just by some chance come across this video, just feel free to comment, see what your thoughts, any name, and like just if you're kind of respectful, like maybe I'd like to have you on the podcast one day. So yeah, let's get into the video. So a street cat named Bob, you have Luke Tradeway starring as James Bowen, and Ruta Gedmintes, if I pronounced her name wrong, please forgive me, and she's Betty. So this film is based on the true story of James Bowen's memoirs of his cat that he met in while he was homeless in the middle of the streets of London. So we get to see follow like the lifestyle of James, and we get to see that he has a very isolated and lonely type of lifestyle. Like the world basically shits on him. Really, he's down on his luck. He's struggling for food. Like he's a musician that is like he doesn't get enough attention and the attention that he deserves as he's an artist. And in a way I feel like I can relate to James. Like I feel like there's a lot of me in him, like although I've never been homeless this far in my life, and as I kind of relate to him. Like I've had my struggles with like isolation and loneliness like during my life, and I feel like this connected me to the film like emotionally. I don't want to like sound like some like soppy kind of dickhead but yeah, I feel like that's kind of connected me to the film more. And he has his struggles with like substance abuse, so he's like he's been like rejected by his own family, his father, his wife, who's not James's mum, but she kind of has something against James mainly for substance abuse. Like I feel like his stepmom was very harsh on James personally, because although like looking at the way he was portrayed by Luke Tradeway and the real life James Bowen, I think that's his name, like he comes across as this very nice, very sweet guy, and like I don't know him personally, but he comes across as like too nice, and I feel like why don't we just help him out? Like I feel like I've always disagreed with like throwing out your own child, like your own son, like no matter how old they are, like even if they're an adult, like into the streets and basically in potential danger. Like you know how chaotic the world is, like, and this film very much conveys that, and it sees the way he sees the world. Like the world shits on him, it dumps on him, like what is basically in danger in the middle of nowhere. Like the way the cinematography is shot, like there's a bit where he's like you hear like all these like car sirens, like police cars, ambulances, and like when I like hear sound like that in real life, like it really does get me depressed and just gets you feel like realise like how alone you really are in this world, and even like your own family members don't seem to care. Like I relate to this massively. Like I've struggled with like depression, and like this is exactly how I feel. Like this is basically describing my personal depression, and I feel that conveys with James. And like he's in this lonely, cold, isolated world. Nobody seems to care, and yeah, like I feel like I can relate to James in that way. So during the film, he meets like a girl called Betty, and kind of like feel like you don't really know much about her, if she's like a good person or a bad person, but get to learn that she's had her struggles in the past with like substance abuse, mainly with her brother. Like, I'm gonna go spoiler territory here. Like, if you haven't seen the film yet, I think this is your time to leave unless you're not bothered. Like, feel free to stay. But yeah, her brother died of substance abuse. I think it's heroin. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. So we get to see that, and they have this connection, and it's the kind of person that James needs in his life, like someone that's actually caring. Like, he's got his social worker kind of character, who's Val, who's played by Joanne Fragget, and she's like always on James's case, like wagging the finger at him, telling him off, like giving a slap on the wrist, like basically like a school teacher, really, as I like to put it. But yeah, anyone that's in his life is basically there to, like, even though like Val is trying her best to help him, and I think that she genuinely cares about James. Like, she's like always on his case, really, and I think other than that, like, James, he needs a break, really. He needs like a big fat hug. And that's what I was came across, and like not many films like get me close to tears, but I really like got pretty close to like tears. Like, I really cared for him and Val, and the girl Betty that he meets. Like, I'm like fearing, like hope to God that nothing terrible happens to any of these people, because it's like it's quite a bittersweet film. Like, it's not afraid to go really depressing, as it is based on a true story as well, and we know how cruel this world can be. Like, it gets pretty depressing. We also get Darren Evans' character, who plays Baz, who is like another homeless person that struggles with substance abuse that James knows through his time of being homeless. And like he last time we see him, like, he has like some overdose with the drug abuse, and we don't really know what happens to him after that. So yeah, as we get into the part where Bob comes in his life, which is the street cat that he somehow found. Like, he's just some random street cat. Like you wouldn't think that a cat can make such a huge impact in someone's life like that. Like, before Bob came along, James was struggling with his busking career. Like, he was barely getting any attention, and just no attention, no money, basically. And yeah, once Bob came along in this part of London where I think all the buskers come, like, he starts getting this more attention. Like, before Bobby was kind of seen as this thug, like some kind of dodgy person. Like, you just don't trust him. Like, I always question, like, whenever I see homeless people, like, they put you on the spot, don't they? Like, they make you feel bad for them. Like, I always feel bad, like, as I don't give them any money, because, like, if I need, or like, every single penny I've got, because I've got no money, not much money myself, basically. And they always put you on the spot, so you always question, like, oh, am I being too tight on them? Like, if you don't know what tight means, it's more like, it's like a Manchester slang type of thing. But yeah, you always question that, and I think in the future, like, it does make you more wary of, like, should you come and go and talk to these, like, people who are on the streets and stuff. Like, I've recently, like, I'm not homeless or anything, but I recently, like, I'm one of those people that don't really have, like, a lot of friends or anything, but I've recently, like, been out into Manchester, thought I'd have, like, a sit down, like, in the middle of nowhere, like, some, like, thing where there's, like, a few bars and stuff, and you got a load of people with all their friends, they're all dressed up nice, and I'm just sat there with, like, a hoodie and joggers on, like, basically like a homeless person, and nobody comes up to you, like, they don't talk to you or smile at you, say hi, like, blank you out and make you feel invisible. And I kind of fear for my life that one day that might become a reality for me. And yeah, I don't want to, like, make this podcast like a very sad, soppy type of podcast, but it does make you feel like what it's like to be in these people's footsteps, like nobody giving you the time of day, basically, and you just, that's something that I very much fear in my life that might happen to me one day, because I'm one of those people that doesn't really have, like, a whole lot of friends, and I don't really see, I'm not really close to a lot of my family members, basically, and it just makes you worried. Like, I can relate to this guy, like, I can see a lot of me in him, and I don't mean to, like, put that in, like, more like a soppy kind of way, like a dramatic type of soppy type thing, but yeah, I just relate, and you just need, like, all I was thinking that he just needs a big fat stinky hug off me, and that's all I got from it. So yeah, I very much enjoyed the film. The performances were good by Luke Treadway, Ruta Jedimint, says, if I pronounced her name wrong, I apologise. Just performances are just great, like, you can't complain really. I don't see anything wrong with the film. It was just a nice, bittersweet, heartwarming film that got me into the brink of tears. Like, it's quite rare for me, and yeah, I just loved it. So for me, it's a 10 out of 10, and yeah, just can't complain really. Like, this cat bought him life. It gave him a new chance, and I'm sorry to hear that Bob's now sadly passed away, which I've recently heard, like, after I watched the film, as I, like, researched, like, YouTube videos of, like, some, like, movie reviews and some information on, like, the real life James Bowen, and it's something new that I've learnt today, and another real inspirational story that I've learnt today, and yeah, just fantastic. I've heard, I've just read somewhere that they're working on a sequel. I don't know if this film needs a sequel, but well, it's another trip to the cinema. Like, if it comes out, I'll give it a watch. And don't know if Luke Treadway is going to star in it again, but he's done he did the job justice. Like, I've seen him before in Attack the Block, and some, like, theatre play that interests me, where he plays, like, this autistic person, and I think it's something to do with a dog. Like, forgive me, like, if I can't really remember its name, like, because it's quite a lengthy name, but yeah, can't complain. What I watched, and highly recommend that you go and watch it. So if you haven't already, subscribe. If the kind of thing I talk about, which is mainly film related, narrative related, TV related. I'm covering The Boys currently. I'm trying to build an audience, so yeah. That what keeps me motivated to do these videos and podcast type things. So I think that's all from me, and goodbye.